We are in 2025 and everybody wants to start riding motorcycles because they look like they are fun, they are convenient and they are beautiful. But these are the 5 motorcycles that you need to avoid when you are shopping for your first motorcycle. Let's get into this. Number 1 in the list of the bikes that you need to avoid when you are shopping for your first beginner bike is a multi-cylinder motorcycle. By multi-cylinder, this is what I mean. A motorcycle that is twin, triple, inline 4, V4s, those bikes. People are going to tell you a lot of stuff. That I started with a 750cc Jigsaw, I started on a CBR 1000, I started on Yamaha R1 Big Bang. People are going to tell you a lot of stuff. But take it from me, beginner bikes must be a small motorcycle. Not because you cannot handle the big bikes. People are made different. People are made totally different. But there are some very, very basic and crucial skills that a small bike is going to teach you and big bikes will never teach you. Some virtues of patience, always confirming things before you do them. Okay? Some very, very important skills that you're going to learn on small bikes. You know very well you're riding a 160, 180cc single cylinder. You can tell how fast that bike accelerates. So before you shift your lane, you already know how safe this is going to be, depending on how powerful your bike is. Those skills come in handy when you start riding bigger bikes as you upgrade. But bigger bikes will never teach you those things. You already know if you throttle up, you are gone. You know if the brakes you have are very premium brakes with the ABS, I don't know, CBS, I don't know what. You know very well the technology is going to save you if you behave stupid. So you become careless. And that is why you find people die on the bikes they upgrade to. They are coming from some small bike, they get a bigger bike, they misbehave for a month and they are dead. If you did not get those skills properly from the small bike you were riding, and then you shift immediately to a bigger bike, you become careless, you become reckless, and you become dangerous to yourself. And that is why I always advise beginners to spend at least 1 year with the first bike you ride. Spend 1 year with it before you think of getting a bigger bike than that one. Whether you started on a 250cc, spend at least 1 year and not less than 10,000 kilometers with that bike before you think of shifting to another bike. Because that bike is going to teach you a lot of things bigger bikes will never teach you. Number 2 on the list of bikes you need to avoid when you're shopping for your first bike is old motorcycles. Old beaten junk motorcycles. Someone tells you, I have a CBR, I have a Yamaha, I have a BMW somewhere, I have a Kawasaki that is lying somewhere dead. I can give you a good deal. You revive that one and then you'll be good to go. As your first bike, avoid that thing like a plague. Avoid it like an infection. You need to avoid that thing. You don't want to start your riding life with repairs. Every day you go out there, you're not sure whether this thing is going to kill you or take you home. Whether this thing is going to get you stranded in the middle of nowhere or this thing is going to get you robbed. Because it broke down in the middle of nowhere and then you're there. Your safety is on the line. You don't want the inconvenience of this bike breaking down and trying to figure out what is a carburetor, what is a throttle body, what is this they are talking about. If you really don't have history in motorcycles, avoid buying old bikes. Bikes that are beaten, repaired, beyond repair, and just avoid those things. Number 3 is a custom-made motorcycle. Just learn away from that thing. What I have here is a 2025 Vogue Rally 300. This is brand new. Brand new. It started its life 2 days ago as an off-road adventure motorcycle. It's brand new, practical with everything. Then God forbid this bike drops and we damage the headlight. And because we don't have the money to repair the headlight, we get some aftermarket, something just to work as a headlight. Along the line, we have realized this handlebar is not exactly what we wanted, so we changed this one. The fuel tank is small. This is 11 liters, and we want to travel from here to the moon without refueling, so we get a 20-liter tank from some junk somewhere. You realize that the front suspension is expensive to maintain and repair because of the seals and stuff. You go and get some suspension from some junk. The seat is modified from this to something else. The swing arm, we wanted a bigger wheel, but this one is not giving us, so we get suspension and swing arm from a different bike. So you start realizing that this bike started as Vogue Rally 300, but at some point it is running on Kawasaki suspension, Yamaha fuel tank, Honda handlebars. The headlight is some cheap junk from China. The seat is from Honda. The swing arm at the back is from Ducati. The wheels are from some Chinese cheap bike because that's what you could afford. This bike is a combination of like 12 different bloods of motorcycles. You don't want to start your riding life with something like that. Such that if you run out of brake pads, you don't even know from which bike those things were collected. So you'll be running around town, around garages with samples, trying to just mix and match stuff to actually realize what that thing is. Because it's not from Vogue. The wheel is from Kawasaki, the brakes are from Brembo, meant for Honda, the swing arm is from something else. So you really don't know. If you damage the wheel bearings, you don't even know which bike they belong to. You don't want to start your riding life with something like that. The other thing is, the other list of the bikes that you need to avoid is bikes without a local dealership. Trust me, there is comfort and convenience when you buy a motorcycle that has a dealership. So beautiful. A motorcycle that has a dealership locally. Yeah, motorcycle that has a local dealership. You damage this side mirror, you know where to get it from. You damage this one, you know where to get it from. Your dashboard misbehaves, you know where you can get technicians who know how this thing is supposed to work. You get something not working properly, you know exactly where you can take that bike. And whoever you are taking the bike to already knows what to do with it. So there is convenience in having a local dealership. As much as possible, try and get a bike that has a local dealership. Finally, in the list of the 5 bikes you need to avoid when you're shopping for your first bike is very expensive and highly technical motorcycles. You need to avoid getting bikes that have very high technology in terms of safety. It sounds stupid, I know that. But let me tell you why. You're buying a bike like this one. This one has ABS, anti-lock braking system. That one is standard on this level of motorcycles globally. That one is the only thing you need to have in terms of safety. You don't want to have a motorcycle with a lot of controls. Launch control, traction control, I don't know, lane control, a lot of shenanigans which are controlled by some component, some gadget hidden down here called the ECU. You don't want a bike that is making decisions. You do not want a bike that can change what you wanted to do. As a beginner, you really don't want to have a bike that has a brain of its own. It will never allow you to learn how to ride motorcycles properly. It will never allow you to learn. Because if you make a small mistake, instead of you correcting that mistake and learning a new skill from that incident, the bike is making decisions for you. You don't want a motorcycle that can change the decisions you have made as a rider. As a beginner, you want to learn how the bike behaves. You want to learn what situations to avoid and how to avoid them. You don't want a bike that is making decisions on its own. Highly technical motorcycles. A bike that has a lot of controls, a lot of sensors. You don't want to have such a bike as a beginner, because you will never learn anything. If you brake longly, the bike is going to give you feedback. The bike is going to show you almost dropped your bike because of long braking. So you need to learn at what point to press the brakes so hard, at what point to let them go. But if you have a motorcycle that is controlling everything you do and making decisions on its own, you will never learn anything as a rider. You will be dependent on the technology, and the day that technology fails you, you are dead. You can trust me. If that technology at some point fails you, you're dead. Because you don't know what to do. In any case, if you find another bike that doesn't have those things and you try to ride it, you're gone. You're going to get into very nasty accidents because you like have zero skills as a rider. You have been relying on the technology to make decisions for you. It is like an AI. It is just making decisions and suggesting things. It is the one thinking on your behalf as a rider. It's dangerous for a beginner. You need to start your riding life with a very basic motorcycle. A motorcycle that gives you feedback in everything you do. You counter steer longly, it gives you a feedback. That was wrong. You brake so hard, the bike tells you that was wrong. You try to accelerate so fast, the bike tells you this is wrong. It is going to give you feedback by behaving in the way you did not expect. If you brake so hard, the bike is going to lock wheels and tell you that was wrong. Okay? So these are things that the bike is going to show you, and you're going to learn things from there. You realize, I almost dropped the bike. I almost hit that vehicle from behind. I almost did this. I almost did this. So you're going to learn what and what to avoid, what and what to improve. And when you do something and you get it right, you're going to practice it again and again, and it is going to become a skill. But if the bike is making decisions for you, you brake so hard, you don't even feel anything, because a lot of sensors are working behind the curtains to save you. You will not learn anything as a rider. It is going to appear safer, but by the end of the day, it is useless and also very dangerous. You have learned something today, I'm very sure of that. Hit the subscribe button and let's do this next time. Two Wheels Paradise, my name is Meshach. I have a 2025 Vogue Rally 300 here. Let's see how much this bike can do off-road. See you around.